Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Milka Kipkoech and my channel revolves around creating content on guiding new content creators on how to improve their channels, grow their channels and make money out of it. And of late, I'm also making about cultural content. I'm interested in different cultures and how they are different from each other or how they are similar to or similar from each other. So I'm going to talk about the Kenyan culture in comparison with the Finnish culture. So I have been living in Finland for the last 8 years. So initially I was living in Kenya. I'd never lived in another country. And one of the cultural contrasts that I wanted to share is about timekeeping and punctuality. I know this is a very controversial topic because especially in Kenya, people tend to be flexible around time, and when they agree on a certain meeting, it's basically when you put midday or let's say 12 noon, then chances are people assume that they should be there 30 minutes or 1 hour later, especially if it's a social gathering. Of course, if it's an official meeting, then people really try a lot to be on time. But in most cases, people even arrive 15, 30 minutes late and they consider themselves to be like on time. And I remember when we were having one of my sister's weddings, and from the cards, they had actually written that the guests or the ceremony is starting at 10 in the morning. Unfortunately, even the bride herself was very late. And I think we ended up starting the ceremony around 12 noon. So you can imagine if it's written you're starting 10 and then you end up starting at 12. That's 2 hours difference. And we had with us Finnish guests and they were really surprised. It's already 10 o'clock. We're still in the house. We don't have a ride. The taxi driver or the car hire guy that we had hired was like Kenyan time or African time. So according to him, 10 o'clock was too early. So he decided to come, I think it was around 11. So we ended up arriving at the venue around midday. So basically, of course, value time, but they don't put that so much importance in the fact that you really have to keep the time. If it's midday or 12 noon, then it's 12 noon minutes before that. And if I compare with the Finnish culture, is if you have a meeting at midday, then at let's say 10 minutes before that, everybody is seated and anticipating to start the social gathering or to start an official meeting. So that's kind of I would say the most contrasting difference between the two cultures. Something else that I wanted to mention is like in Finland, people value their silence. The Finns are so private people and they actually value their silence. So if you're sitting in a bus, so first of all, even if you're sheltering somewhere in the rain, and then there is only a small shelter, and there are like 2-3 people already standing in the shelter, and you don't know these people, they are not your friends, you've never met them, then ideally, in a Finnish perspective or culture is that you should never go as close as 2 meters from the other person. So if the tent is already 4 meters, and there's already 3 people, that's already considered to be too many people in one tent. So ideally you should stand outside in the rain because there's not enough space for all the people. And if I could compare about in Kenya is, if it's 4 meters, that's basically enough for maybe 6 people. So people are more, they don't consider that you should be far away from each other. But here, it's almost like 2 meters of space. So stand on your own space, I stand on mine. And if we've never met before, you don't know me, I don't know you, small talk is like not encouraged or people don't engage in small talk. So, but of course, once they know you, you will really talk for many hours, many stories, personal, most secret stories that you've never shared with someone else, then they're able to share with you. But if you just met, you don't know each other, people just keep to their silence and it's okay. But for Kenyan culture, if people are sitting in a room and nobody is talking to each other, it's almost considered to be very awkward. And are people fighting? Is there something wrong? It's very, almost I would say, abnormal. So normal is like people would just talk about anything and everything. But in Finland, you can be silent even for 1 hour, 2 hours, and it's considered normal. And something else unique is like in Finland, people are very individualistic, let me call it like that, or self-sufficient. You should be able to take care of your needs or wants or everything on your own. And if I compare with the Kenyan culture, is people are more collective. We are more communal, or rather, we come together to help each other when there is a need. And it's almost always considered rude. For example, if you have a function and you need people to do, for example, cooking, of course, times are changing and people hire professional cooks or professional waiters or waitresses. But in the past, or I think it's still happening in the rural areas, you get all the neighbors to come and assist, make the food, do the serving, do the cleaning, like support in every aspect. And if someone has, let's say, an hospital bill or funeral expenses, people come together and contribute. If someone is having a baby, everybody will contribute something. If someone is having a wedding, people will contribute money to support for the wedding. But here, in Finland, people are more self-sufficient. They're able to take care of their things. And basically, they do what they're able to do according to their resources. So they don't expect the neighbors or the friends to give them money or whatever support to kind of achieve what they are planning to do. Of course, in the countryside, the culture here is almost similar to that of Kenya. People come together to assist without expecting you, for example, to pay them. So almost similar to the culture that I witnessed back in Kenya. Another thing is directness in communication. The communication style in Finland is very direct. People don't engage in small talk, like I said earlier. And if they have an opinion about something, they will say it in black and white, just the way it is. But in Kenya, people feel like they should not offend the other one. So people will never tell you directly that your shoes are smelling. Okay, that's a very bad example. Which other example I can give? So that is considered to be offensive to the other person, but it's true. We rather say it in a different way than say directly that you did this wrong and maybe you should consider changing or something like that. So the communication style is so different that it's difficult for if you visit people from Finland, if they're visiting in Kenya, then they find it so difficult because it starts to feel like people are very undecisive because nobody likes to say no for something. And at the same time, they don't like to really do what it is that was being discussed. So it's kind of people are beating around the bush without getting to the solution. So the communication style is very, very different if I compare the two countries. And then one last thing I wanted to share is the sauna culture, how people bond. So in Finland, basically, we use the sauna as a bonding kind of space. And that's for families in the first place. The whole family goes to the sauna. The children, the parents, they go together. And if you have close friends, then people go to sauna together. And in sauna, we don't wear bathing suit. Swimming suit is in most places it's not allowed unless in public saunas, then you use the bathing suit. So people go to sauna without clothes. So that would really be considered. I don't know if that can happen in Kenya. I don't know. That's only my view. But in Kenya, we use like social gatherings, dances, meals as a way of bonding. So if people are having meals together, having a party together, then that's already considered to be like a bonding session. So not like going to sauna and yeah. So that's the unique cultural traits of the two countries. So if you have any Any points to add if you've been living in Finland as a foreigner? What are the cultural differences that you've noticed between your original culture and that of Finland? So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you've not subscribed. Leave us a comment on the cultural differences that you've noticed, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.